545, right?
Yeah.
So pretty much you all know each other. So all the classes, I'm gonna follow pretty much the same structure. I will devote the first portion of the class to give you some hints and tips and suggestions that I think they will improve your iPhone photography. I will be sharing some quotes on photography that we will think about. We will be looking at the work from other photographers. We also gonna be looking at some of your own work, right? And I will always include like a short video of a particular photographer that I think is gonna bring you light about a particular topic that I wanna comment. So I know it sounds like a lot because there's somebody new in the class and it's the beginning. The dynamics, they're a little bit slower, but you'll see once I get the pace, it will be boom, 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 I follow. And everybody was very happy the last time. Okay, so this is class number 2, Susan. The other one was pretty much an introduction with some of the possibilities. So what I want to talk today pretty much is something that you may think is completely dumb and out of the question, but it's really important. The same thing that many times I explain and I tell people that holding the camera is something that is essential. For example, Hub was telling me that she's always been photographing wildlife and she wanted to do her project on people, right? That's the case.
Right.
So one of the things that I discovered is that both handling the equipment properly, but also holding the gear properly makes a difference, especially when you're photographing in low light, right? Some of you, you're probably looking at me and you're thinking, what the hell is wrong with this guy? Like, I know how to hold my phone. Well, after doing lots of research and looking at things, I have realized that people, they don't know how to hold the phone, that many times some of the images, they're almost blurry or out of focus because they're not properly holding the phone. So because this class is supposed to bring you to a different level, I'm gonna show you some ideas and then you can adapt whatever things I share. The first thing is that because the sensor is very small and this device is very small, right? How you hold this phone is gonna make a difference. What I call the 4-corner technique, right? Is that you can be holding the phone something like this, right? Different people can do it in many different ways, right? So I'm gonna share some of you, but holding with 4 corners means that a device that is very flat and is not heavy can be held steady. We're gonna find that there's a technique that we can photograph with slow shutter speed using the phone. If you're not holding the phone properly, that technique would actually not work, okay? The free finger technique is something that at the beginning is gonna sound a little bit awkward, but it has proven to be very, very efficient. So let's see if I can do this online, right? The idea is that 3 fingers, these ones, the center ones, are gonna be on the back of your phone. You're gonna be using your thumb to support the upper portion of the phone, and your little one is gonna support the lower, right? So that is giving me a grip that is absolutely steady. I can hold that. It's kind of strange when you do it in the first place. Actually, it's reverse, Hub. You have to do it reverse. So the 3 fingers, they go on the back of the phone, right? So when my cameras are aiming forward, that's my support. And my little one is my lower support. And my upper one is holding the thing. And then how will you trigger the phone if you do it this way? One of the ways of doing it is using your thumb and you softly touch the screen, right? That's one of the ways of doing it, okay? So it's a system that I never did before. When I started preparing this class, I started looking and advancing and researching how can I hold a device that is so slim and not very steady, So this is one of the ways that I have discovered, right?
Excuse
yes.
me, I'm not getting that. So the baby finger is supposed to be on the bottom of the phone?
That is correct. So So, okay, you see my hand like this, right? Yes, can you? This is
Yeah.
my phone,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So it's gonna come all the way here.
Yeah.
Then my thumb is holding the top.
Okay.
My pink, I think, whatever you call this one, I forgot the English word for this one. It goes from the lower portion, and you're just holding it still.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, it's super simple, it's super steady. So two different ways. You can hold your phone like this, you can hold like this, okay? And let's continue. But you'll see it will become very handy. So pretty much this is a photograph that I took somebody. This is what it will be, the four corners. So this was on a Lindblad trip. Somebody was holding the phone with four, and then they used them and they click with the thumb. That's one of the ways of doing it. How will you hold the phone for taking a selfie? So pretty much it will be the same thing as the three finger technique or whatever you want to call that thing, but instead of using your thumb to hold the upper portion, what I do is I do two fingers on the back and then I use my thumb to click. Does that make any sense? It's much easier in person. So when you're photographing a regular shot, you have three fingers on the back. When you're gonna take a selfie, right? You're not gonna have this thumb on the upper portion because that thumb actually is moving into the clicking. That's the one that is actually gonna trigger the photo. Is this clear to everyone? Yeah, it's simple. Yes?
So you're turning the screen around. Is that correct? You're
Well,
reversing the screen so it's looking at you.
correct. So phones.
And then you are touching the screen.
Yes.
I guess maybe I need to turn mine this way.
Yeah, so
my camera lens is right here.
okay, so if your camera lens is right there, if you see mine, that's my camera lens. My fingers, they happen to be on the opposite side. I mean, you could do reverse, but you will be covering the actual lenses. So that's how I do it. Also, it depends if you work with the right or with the left.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's continue here.
Okay.
We're not going to talk about this. Well, this is basically how you do it. You just put two fingers on the back, you hold still, and you trigger with the thumb. So this is very, very simple. And that's how I took this selfie early morning when I started the quarantine. I don't look like that anymore. Every day I will be changing. By the end, it will be very dramatic. So just make sure whatever you do that you hold your phone steady. Okay. Same thing. If you photograph with a camera, and Hab was telling me, oh, I want to photograph in low light. I'm gonna go into like a small hut in the middle of the jungle. There's this tribe living over there. There's hardly any light coming through. Key to hold the phone properly. Okay. And this is very important to get sharper images. The other thing I want to remind everyone, right? This is something I see all the time. Everybody starts taking photographs and this is what they do. There's no way that you can hold still. Are you laughing, Alex? There's no way you can hold your phone like this without shaking at certain point, even though it's not heavy. Yes, you can lock your arms and you can say, well, I can keep it like this, but it's not really very efficient. So the best way to do it, the same way with the cameras, is you do one of the techniques that I suggested, where is the four or the three fingers, and you keep it close to yourself, and we're gonna be locking the elbow. That's how we can maintain it still for a very long time. So if we were photographing a performance, if Alex was photographing in the kitchen for a very long time and there's low light, right? If she starts photographing everything like this, it will come to a point that the videos, which is one of the things you can do with phones, they won't be steady. But if you trust me on this one and you follow some of the advice I give you along the course, right? Even though they sound a little awkward, but they're there for a reason. You do a video and you hold it like this, it becomes super steady. So if I do the three finger technique, right? And I bring the elbow close to me and I click with the other hand, I can guarantee you that those photographs are very, very stable, right? Because you have the grip from the thumb, from the little one and the back, pressing the phone. Okay, so let's move forward with this one. So the other thing, and this is also related to photography, we have or we can look for support, right? So if I'm gonna be doing a video, instead of holding the video just like this, I can look for a table or a credenza, whatever this thing is called, and I can use the technique that I'm suggesting. I place my hand or I place my phone and then I trigger. There's no need to be balancing with one leg up, photographing the flower. That is not very efficient. It looks very funny for everybody looking at you, but in reality, the more stable, the more relaxed you are in your little corner where nobody is watching, that's when you become more efficient, okay? The other thing, and I don't know if this is in this presentation or not, when you're doing the 3-finger technique, right? And you have the thumbs holding, we're gonna be using the other thumb to trigger, right? The other thing that I don't see anybody doing, and it's really efficient, is you grab this hand, you bring it like this, and then you have a double grip using your other elbow and your other hand. So you're extremely stable. Look at my ergonomic position. I'm locking my phone. I'm using this thumb from the other hand to trigger, but at the same time, hello. Patricia. How are you?
Sorry, I've got to move this.
That's okay. We were missing you.
My connection in one place wasn't working. So it's just crazy. I'm so sorry.
No worries at all. No worries at all. I've seen it all. Are you okay?
I don't,
Good.
I don't see Patricia. Do you all folks see her?
Yes. Hi, Patricia.
Hello. Hi, Susan. Good to see you.
Okay, Patricia. So this is kind of like these beginnings. We're very flexible with time and coming in. As we move forward, next week I'll be more strict. So Patricia, because we're missing some other person that I don't know where he went. So what we're talking today is about how to hold the phone properly. So maybe, I don't know, Susan. Maybe
Yeah.
Susan wants to explain Patricia one way to hold the phone really quickly.
4 fingers, like that. You did the 3 fingers where you had your thumb up here and like this, right? Is that right?
Yes.
But you know, when I do this, it's very heavy on my pinky. My pinky is not strong.
Yes, but that's why I was, okay, so let me rephrase what Susan is saying. She's completely right. Patricia, what I'm saying today is like we were talking about the importance of holding your camera or your phone properly, right? So one of the suggestions that I was giving is the 4-corner grip, which is, you know, on each corner, right? And you can even change fingers, and then the other one you use to trigger. The other suggestion that I was giving that is very unusual and not many people are doing is you put 3 fingers on the back, you use the little one as a grip and the upper thumb to pressure. So that's how you hold the phone when you take pictures, and you use the other thumb from the other hand to slightly press the screen and take the photographs, always very gently, okay? Susan, regarding your pinky not being strong enough to hold the phone, what I was saying is, this is the way we do the grip. And I was saying, never overextend your arms. You always want to keep your phone close to you with your elbows, like at an angle, right? Never straight, because eventually if you do video, it will be shaky. But what I'm suggesting is that you can grab your hand, the other hand, and you do it like an under grip, holding your hand like this. So then you don't need to have like a strong pinky. And then you use the thumb to actually trigger. So I can be standing with my elbows bent in a super stable position, doing a video that is not vibrating at all. And I can control everything and make it very smooth and very stable. Okay? That's what we were suggesting. Are you with me, Alex?
Yeah.
I know this is super simple, but we're gonna get into more.
Oh no, you're good. You're good.
No, I'm just saying. So the importance of holding things steady. Why I'm putting so much importance on holding. I also photograph with Leica cameras, and I just realized when you hold your camera properly, right? When you have a mirrorless camera or a Leica that is a rangefinder or a phone, because there's not a mirror vibrating, you can hand hold a photograph for almost 1/10 of a second. That means that you can photograph with very, very low light. Okay, let's keep it that way. So I was just also suggesting that when we do videos, instead of doing like these magical tricks of balance, always look for something in nature to give you support, right? When I photograph dolphins and I'm in a zodiac, I use my leg to pressure the other side. So even though you're standing next to me and you don't see the energy, my foot is pushing to that direction, my arm into the other direction, and that's how I'm counterbalancing everything. So with the phone is the same. You can look for a tree, you can look for a wall, it can be anything, okay? If you're kneeling down in the floor, you can use your knees. So keep those things, or you can place it on a tripod. How do you press the shutter? This is also one of these things that you're probably thinking, what the hell is wrong with Kike today? But it's really important. When we go into using something that we call the live mode, which is actually photographing with a slow shutter speed, we gently need to press the shutter speed. If you press very strong, you're actually creating a vibration every time you take a photograph. And because our goal is to take super, super sharp photographs, that's why I'm being a pain and I'm telling you, do the foregrip, the 3 fingers, bring your hand, do the whole thing, lock your elbows, and then do like a super mild, gentle touch, like click, 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 almost caressing the screen. And that's how you take very sharp pictures using an iPhone or any phone by the matter, okay? So always apply very light pressure on the screen because people, they tend to overdo it. So imagine that you happen to be in a zodiac. We're moving, right? The sun is going down. There's not much available light. And then you decide that you're not gonna balance yourself and you're just pressing the shutter like crazy. Those pictures, probably they're not gonna be sharp unless the phone is responding with the right shutter priority, okay? The other suggestion, and as you've seen or heard in some of my presentation, sometimes I'm not so much about the technique, but I really care about the connection between the outdoors and the indoors. I think the breathing is very important. So you breathe in and you actually photograph when you exhale, because that's when you can be even more stable. So if you combine all these things that I'm telling you, you're like a rock or a branch that is so thick that it's not being moved by anything. And that's really important with this point that we're covering today, which is photographing sharp photographs. So you breathe in, and this applies with other cameras. So if you were in a small room with hardly any light, right? There's somebody with a candle on a birthday party. There's not much available light. If you want to be successful, follow all these steps, and you have already improved your photograph right away just by position. It's very important. That's why I always like to start from the basics. Even people, they want to jump steps, I think is better and more honest from my side if I start from scratch. And why do we want to do this? Because we want to get sharper photographs. These are 2 pictures taking exactly the same technique. So one can look like that, the other one can look like that, okay? If you shake the phone. This is a photograph that I took.
A lot of those.
No, they're very beautiful. They're very beautiful, but we're gonna be defining, you've been sending some of your work. So we're gonna be defining what is artistic and where is the edge that you're already breaking something that is to be used in media. That's based on my experience, of course. Something funny that has been happening, if you know, I was stuck on a ship for a while. So I came back finally to the US. I took photographs with my iPhone during the whole thing. Those photographs that I showed you the other day, they keep on being published in media. I don't even know how many places those pictures. I rented a car at the airport and Hertz had just declared bankruptcy. So my photographs were in Yahoo, in Bloomberg, they were all over and they were taken with a phone. So this morning I was thinking to myself, how funny that a photograph that I took with a phone, they've been published everywhere so far. So my mission in this course is to convince you that the phones are amazing tools, as I said the other day. And we should never miss the best photograph. This is Pili, my daughter, and something that you need to understand, that photographs and the type of photograph that I hope you're trying to get, they're slices of life, right? I've seen some of your photographs and we'll comment later. Some of them, they're very beautiful. Some of them, they have problems, but that's my mission, to encourage you to improve them. And I will be very honest, but we're not gonna be aiming only to take beautiful photographs or postcard style photographs. What I want you to encourage you is to take photographs that they tell stories, which is really hard to do. So that's one of the things that I'm gonna be covering. And when you take moments like this, they only happen very quickly. You could be in a forest and then the light goes down, and for a second, the sun rays are going through the forest and they're on the face, or she does that moment. It doesn't matter what it is. They happen very quickly, or somebody's taking a photograph. This was in Colombia, in the carnival, but I don't even know what it was. But whenever we did it, the last time I forgot, I don't even know the year we are anymore. But the thing is, there's something we call decisive moment, and it's very key and very important to understand it. You should know your phone, because I discovered that many people, and this happened on the other class, they have their larger camera hanging on this side and they have their phone. They start messing up with the big one, putting the aperture, putting everything, and by the time they're ready to shoot, the whole thing is over. And I've seen people that they're very efficient with their phones, and they're in a corner, nobody knows they're there, and they're capturing absolutely everything. And by the time the other person with the big phone starts to shoot, they're done, because the moment has gone, right? So this is what I want to talk about: how to open your phone very quickly. I'm sure you know this, but some of the things I have discovered, people, they don't know this. This is something that I photographed on my last trip. This is oh my God, I just forgot the name of the island. But in Patagonia, the small island in Chile, I just spaced out. But this moment just happened in Cape Horn, sorry. This happened for a second. This is a family that is taking care of the lighthouse, and then the daughter started running through the grass. I had my larger camera and I was flying the drone at the same time, but I didn't want to miss like a beautiful moment with the hair on the face, the husband coming on the back. So these things, you have to be ready. So how do you open a phone quickly? And this is what I'm going to cover today. I also photographed this image in Jackson Heights. It's not a fantastic photograph, but it's a moment that I thought it was kind of interesting, because the bus was lifted on a crane or a transportation. So it looks like it's almost flying over the other cars. Things like this, they happen very quickly. So if you don't open your phone and you respond to it, or this guy, this traveler that I was actually taking a photograph, and then I noticed the reflection looked very beautiful. So you have to do it quickly. So how do you open your phone very quickly? The first one, and I'm sure you know this, but if you don't, that would be better, is let's say that you want somebody to take your own shot. There's no way to unlock the phone. You just hold and press the phone icon on the bottom, and then it opens by itself. I know, and I hope everybody knows this, but if not, I'm sharing. There's no need to unlock the phone. So if I don't know Alex, and Alex is walking through a boardwalk next to me, and I say, Alex, can you take my shot? There's no need to unlock my whole phone so she has access to my stuff. There's no need for her to see my photos. I can just do as I said. I can just press with my finger on the icon, boom, the whole thing opens, and Alex, or the person that is taking that photograph, would only be able to see the actual photograph that she's taking, okay? So that's number one. Number two, yes.
My phone, when I hit that icon on the lower right, it doesn't do anything until I swipe up.
You have to hold it down.
I tried
to hold it down.
Down on the camera.
I tried that and it just went dark.
That's interesting. Which phone do you have?
This is the 11.
Oh, we have the same. So it should work perfectly. So let me show you here. So that's mine.
It just was
okay.
slow.
There's no need to swipe up. So let's see if this thing works. With Zoom, it's very crazy. So basically, you just press, you hold it, and then when you release, hold on one second. It opens by itself. There's no need to make it up or down, or should not, right?
I don't have an icon.
Which phone do you have?
The 8. The 8.
The 8. You got me there, Patricia. You got me there, Patricia. So I don't know. I forgot how 8s were working in terms of opening the phone. I know there's shortcuts to do it without unlocking the phone. So let me show you the other.
Bottom. on an
I
8.
saw it.
You just pull up on the bottom when you're on the lock screen.
Yeah, I see that now.
And
I
then
do
Okay.
have to swipe.
yeah.
Okay, okay. So for the new phones, I was gonna say this. So for the new phones, it's actually how you can do the same. You can swipe from right to left, and then it opens. For Patricia, it's actually from bottom to top, and then it opens. So that means that if you have like that kid running around in
We
Cape
lost
Horn,
you there. We lost you, Kiki.
you know what I mean in terms of sound. Okay, okay. Can you see me?
I can
Yeah.
see you.
Okay, so what I was saying is that you can press that icon and just opens. You can swipe from bottom to top like Patricia, or you can do to left, right to left, or you can do the conventional way,
Yes.
which is
I missed out. I missed out on that.
okay. So I'm just saying, Janet, that you can open the phone in 3 different ways. One is just pressing on the camera icon. You press and boom, it opens. The other way, you can just swipe from right to left. And the other one is the conventional system of unlocking your phone and going to the photo application. Okay? Everybody follow?
Yeah.
Yes?
Got it.
Okay. So the important thing about this is that you're going to be reacting and no thinking. And this applies for photography in general. My recommendation is that you do thinking when you're planning, but once you go into the field, once you start photographing a birthday party, a trip, something, it's second nature, and there's no thinking, there's no planning. You're reacting to the situations. If you have a preconceived ideas of what you're going to be producing and you don't adapt, you're missing many of the opportunities. One of my favorite English words with this lovely accent that I have is serendipity. And I love that word. In Spanish is serendipia. And these are moments that they just happen in front of you. So if you don't react to serendipity or serendipia, you lose the moment. If you don't open the phone, how I'm describing, and you put your code or you wait for the face to recognize, the phone to recognize your face, you're missing those moments, okay? So keep those things in mind. And the other thing that I mentioned about dance is something that a friend of mine refers as compositional dance. So you identify a situation that is happening, you don't think about it, you respond. So I don't photograph weddings, I only did ones that I gave away, but in those scenarios, those settings, you cannot be thinking, okay, I think the bride is gonna walk that way, I think the light, no, you're just responding from an emotional side. So what I suggest is that you dance with your phone through the room, through the spaces, and that's how you capture photographs. And you do the planning before, you read books that inspire you, you see photographs, you have that mental library of situations, but when you go and shoot, you respond. And this is very important when we photograph people. The other thing is we have to be present, right? It's like when you go selling, when you do other things. What I love about photography is that it brings me to the moment. I go into the zone, and that's what I'm producing. So if you have mental clutter in your mind, right? Like, oh, I put the pizza in the oven and I have like 30 minutes to take the shot and then come back. That's a formula for disaster, because you have to be present. And that's really important. And I know this is more connected to meditation and other things, but photography is exactly the same thing. It's not about the aperture. It's about being in tune with your surroundings. At least that's my theory. So in the end, what we need is to be focused and we need to be present. Okay? So the other thing, and it's very important, and sorry that I'm extending a little bit more today, is to push your personal boundaries. The reason that I asked to think of a project, and hopefully you have chosen something that is going to be hard to produce, because only when you push your boundaries, your photography is gonna improve. A smooth sea never made a skilled sailor, and that's the same thing with photography. If you choose a topic, if you choose something that you're so comfortable with, it's a no-brainer, but you don't learn anything. If I tell you how complex it was to put together this class using Zoom before I did the other one, it was amazing. But I was looking back, it's like, I have discovered a new tool, a new way of doing it. and a new way of expressing myself. So with the same thing with cameras and the same thing with photography. So keep that in mind. I want to look at Cartier Bresson today very quickly. Some of these guys probably you know, some you may not. Of course, I hope you know Cartier Bresson. So we were talking about the decisive moment, right? These moments in time, serendipity, where all the elements, they happen to combine in one frame. So that's what you should be aiming for, okay? Patricia, what do you think about the picture on the left? Why do you think it's an interesting shot? What is behind that shot that calls your attention?
The coats, the similarity in the men, in the coats.
Yes.
The size
Yes.
of.
Yes. Yes. So you have two elements. One is part of the background. One is part of the foreground. One is real life. The other one is man-made. Both they have the mustache. Both they have the same trench coat, almost the same walking position, right? So we're creating a comparison, something that we can relate to, okay? What about this one? Alex, what do you think about this photograph? Why do you think Cartier Bresson is a master? Well, we know that, but why this photograph is so beautiful? What is in there that captures our attention? Why do we relate to this photo?
Well, I think it's like what you were talking about earlier about shooting, just capturing the moment and not putting too much thought into it. It seems like this is a right place at the right time. He snapped the shutter just perfectly. You know, the mother in the background, I'm assuming, walking up with her smile and the child smiling. It's a really happy emotion in contrast to a pretty stark background.
Yes, yes. And I think the reason that I like his work, and of course history has recognized his work, is because he captures moments of life that it could be anywhere, right? This is Armenia in 1972 when I was born, but it could be in Spain in a small town, or it could be anywhere.
Yeah.
Right? And there's different layers. So in a particular photograph, you find the composition. Hello there. And this is the person that we were missing.
Missing person.
Yes, how are you?
Hey, how are you? I think I'm afraid I missed you, right? For an hour, is that correct?
Well, I guess you did a little bit. We're going to an end, but welcome. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Well, first of all, sorry. I was under the impression that Eastern time is the same as Panama time. So 5 would be my time 5. So it seems it's not. So that's obviously not very good. But I can introduce
Very
myself
briefly,
just
because we have to continue and we'll have time. But you're from Panama, right? You sent me some very good photographs.
Let me just.
Connection is not good. Okay, Dirk. So let me continue. Okay, so I don't stop. We know you joined the class. So for everybody, he joined us from Panama. Okay.
Yeah, I think now I have a better connection. Now I can hear you properly. You can.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Dirk.
Okay, so
I'm Dirk.
Yeah.
From Panama. Hello, everybody.
Okay. So welcome. So we were talking about the iPhone, how to holding, and now we're looking at some images of Cartier Bresson, and I was talking how his ability to capture light, but also moments, right? Sometimes photographs, they're not only about composition, but in my opinion, they happen to be slices of life. So when we see photographs that they're really beautiful, and the reason that we love them, and they don't fall into the postcard category, that is not a bad category, but they don't bring them into the universal level, that's what we hope to achieve, is that they capture something that is part of the human being, the connection of the beings with the surrounding. And that's, I think, that what he did very well. This was taken in Valencia, in Spain in 1933. And it's another of those iconic photographs. This one in France, I'm sure you've seen. So this is about the circular line. The stairs are creating a curve, like a spiral, but also as you see the curve on the upper portion is doing a curve, and that person has has circulated all the way from one side to the frame all the way to the other. So it's a beautiful shot, almost serendipity. So I'm gonna share a short video of Cartier Bresson and how he thought about photography, and then we will continue. This is gonna be super, super short. I will always be introducing short
Qu'est-ce que tu
videos
fais
around
avec ça?
different topics. I think we can skip this.
Mais le regard qui perce, regarde pas, ils appuient. Trois quarts des gens ne regardent pas, ils appuient. Ils identifient. Mais le regard qui perce, le sens de ça, très peu.
Et qu'est-ce qui perce ce regard?
Il y a un point d'interrogation. J'ai découpé des lettres dans l'écho de Paris. Je me souviens quand j'étais gosse, et j'ai collé ces lettres sur une grande glace en bois doré. Et ça fait le mot « D'où vient l'argent ?» Et j'avais 14 ans, je crois. Lavé dans la baignoire à la maison. Et mon père, quand il a vu ça, mais Henri, mais tu as des sœurs. Je n'ai pas compris du tout pourquoi il me disait ça. Henri, mais tu as des sœurs. Ma mère militait pour la fermeture des bordels. Les conversations chez ma mère sont plus passionnantes que dans votre salon.
Ah oui, vous lui disiez ça?
Oui. Ah, mon pauvre chéri, si tu avais un bon confesseur dominicain, tu n'en serais pas là. J'ai jamais eu de confesseur dominicain. Je me confessais plutôt aux filles des bordels, avec Pierre Josse et tous mes copains. Et surtout, c'était des cathos de gauche.
So this goes on and on and on. That's why so I highly recommend you look at his history, career. If you don't know Cartier Bresson, maybe it was not the best example when he spoke, but I really like when he mentioned that many people, they don't look. Stories are everywhere, and you may agree or disagree with topics, with what is happening, but if you're willing and trying to tell stories, you should analyze whatever is happening around you. So these are photographs that I've taken. This is Easter week in Spain. Susan, what do you think about this photograph? Why do you like it? Why don't you like it? What do you see here? What do you think I was thinking? What could be improved? What can you bring to the table from your observation of this photograph?
Well,
And if you don't like it, you can say whatever you want. This is
that's
a
fine.
learning
No, I
spot.
like it. I like it.
Nobody's gonna take anything personal. When we comment a photo, is detached from the author, right? Same thing will apply when I give you feedback. It will be
That's
my
why I
honest
sent you the
opinion.
ones I did. I want feedback. Oh no,
Yeah,
I liked
so
it.
Whatever you want to say, feel free to express.
It's a little chaotic, but the front balances it in a way that I really like. So
Okay.
there's
so
a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. So this is my point, and this is why I chose this photograph. When there's a lot going on, it can play for good or for bad. It can be a success, it can be a disaster. So your role is to actually find some balance in that cow. It can be through graphic elements, it can be through hats, it could be through anything. I also brought those two people in the foreground to give you a sensation that you're almost staring between them, okay? These are just some simple hints. Dirk, what about this photograph? What do you like? What do you dislike? What would you comment? This is Easter week in Spain. So you know if you don't know.
Are you asking me again?
Not KKK.
No, Dirk.
What?
It's not KKK.
No. This is not KKK. This is a beautiful Spanish tradition. Nothing connected with that.
I like the photo before more, to be honest,
Okay.
like for the liking point. I don't know, what I find there's kind of a stark contrast between what I see in the front and what seems to be a bit in the background, although it's the same. Those guys with the full-on mask and the rope seem to be, to me, they seem a bit, different, no, than what is in the foreground. And
okay.
So
So let me complement. When you take photographs, right, you need to do lots of research. So I'm about to publish a new book about an indigenous tradition in Colombia, in a tiny place in the mountains. So it has taken me a long time to secure access. Well, I took the pictures in the past, and now to have the permission from the whole indigenous community to answer questions and to publish the book. Of course, I can publish the book, but I want them to be happy with what I'm doing. So I have spent lots of time interviewing everybody, speaking with the elder, with the young, with the women of the community. So I understand what my photographs means, not only to me, but what they mean to them, right? So the reason that I'm showing the eyes is because this tradition in Spain is meant to cover whoever is behind and is connected with religion and with faith. And I photograph many times, and it doesn't matter you're religious or not, it's very beautiful and there's lots of energy. So from a photo point of view, what I was trying to do is show you that there's somebody's eyes that you can see perfectly in focus, but then you can see the whole outfit on the background that is blurry. And then when it comes to cropping and composition, that's something we're gonna be covering these days. Dirk, you send me very beautiful photographs, but I'm gonna tell you the same thing that I was told to me in the past. You have to not present everything in a perfect manner, and only when you break those perfect rules, the images, they transform into something else. I was told that a long time ago. So some of your photographs that you guys have submitted, I have nothing to say because they're very beautiful, but I want to push you to become something else. I don't know if I'm putting my message across. So it also depends. Yes.
You did tell us to send photographs that we didn't think were all that great. Is that right?
No, I know, but like different people have seen different things. So
Okay.
when we review things, Patricia, you're gonna see that there's a mixture of everything. So, and also this photograph, I'm playing also with the foreground, with the background, traditional dresses of women. I made sure that the guy is on the left, really in focus. And this is the same thing. I came very close to my subjects because I wanted to show the eyes, and I wanted to make sure that you see the facial expression through the eyes, even though I'm missing the overall, okay? And this is just a slow shutter speed of a cute kid playing the drum. You can do these kind of photographs using the phone. And this is something that we were talking about, how to hold the phone properly. So we'll cover different things. And I know today I'm gonna extend a little bit longer maybe, so forgive me. So it really doesn't matter who took the photographs because the class has increased in number. I won't be covering and looking at everything that you send me because it will be crazy. So I will be randomly choosing things that I think I can provide you feedback or we can comment. So I really like this photograph, but I have to be honest, right? So
Yeah.
the first thing, I'm a perfectionist and I love teaching. As you will notice by the end, I'm happy that by the end, if there's a love-hate relationship, it's like, how can he be telling me this? But he's right and I learned a lot. So that's what I want. So what it bothers about this photograph, the first thing that bothers me, and that's what I'm gonna point out, and there's a motorcycle mirror, I think that's what it is, placed on the back of the head. because there's a very interesting subject that is moving across the photograph with a face cover that is quite interesting and quite captivating. Having a mirror that is reflecting white light that is overexposed exactly behind the subject is a little bit disruptive to me, because as an artist or as a photographer, you need to bring your viewer to understand where they should look at the frame. A photograph is nothing else but a canvas, right? I give you a canvas, and then you decide what do you do with the canvas. Do you put a line on the light on the left? Do I make it or everything red? It's your choice. So when we do street photography and people photography is no different. So instead of asking yourselves, what should I put? I want you to start asking yourself, what should I remove? If there's something that is there that should not be there, because if it should not be there, it does not have to be there, even though the photograph is fantastic. Okay, I hope that I'm making sense. It's a great photo and I love it, but I'm gonna go quickly because there's many of them and I want to comment. I think this is a very interesting photograph. I like that the light is coming from the back. Something that I noticed with this person, or okay, actually I think it's Susan, right? It doesn't really matter. That some of the subjects, they're fantastic and you have the eye, but when you choose scenes that the light is very strong on the back, the subjects become underexposed. When we do phones, I'm gonna show you a technique to override this problem very easily and we'll cover another day. But I just want you to remember, bright window or bright light with a subject that is darker is messing with my sensor, whether it's the phone or the camera, okay? I think this is a very interesting, captivating photo to me. I wonder what is, of course, I can know or not know, but those coins there, and I see the green and the vegetation and the sculpture, so it makes me wonder, and I think it's very interesting. The other thing that I noticed in some of the composition, I think have the same problem. You have presented amazing photographs, but you have framed them so tightly that yes, the scene that you're giving me is fantastic, but at times I wonder what was happening beyond that moment. So the images that have been chosen, they're fantastic, but sometimes I want to see more, and you need to combine, especially when you're doing stories, okay? So let's move forward on this one. Okay, Susan, what do you think I'm gonna tell you about this photograph? At the end, you're all gonna hate me, but it will be my joy because that will mean that you really got what I'm trying to say. What do you think I'm gonna tell you about this photograph before I even say anything?
The reason that I included it is because I want to know what you're going to say, because I know what I think about it already.
Okay, so let me question, because I like to ask questions back, right?
Yes.
Very, very interesting scene, balanced composition, a little bit tilted to one side. I can live with it, not fully in focus. I think the shutter speed was not quick enough for the amount of light. So this is connected with holding the actual camera or the shutter speed. But what I have a problem with is, I'm gonna ask you, Susan, do you think the person on the bottom left, that I think I've seen in another photograph too, is holding a phone or speaking on the phone? Do you think that's providing me anything as a viewer to make me understand, or is it disturbing?
No, that one, I mean, it could go either way. It could be a juxtaposition, but I don't like it and I would crop it out myself.
Okay, so yes, beautiful moment, but always ask yourself before shooting, should that person be there? If I'm gonna show tourism, right? I wanna make a clear statement that is tourism. If I wanna show somebody like two teens using the phone in Carnival, right? Then they should not be placed in the corner so small that I don't understand the message. Maybe those teens texting, they have to be on the upper front, in front of my face, right here texting, and then all the background is the scene. So what I'm trying to tell you is that by moving elements around, you divert your focus into different places of the photograph. If you give me, excuse me, all the information in one layer and you present it to me, as a viewer, I'm gonna make a mistake and I have no idea where to look. So it's a puzzle that you need to organize, if that makes any sense, okay?
Yes.
I lost track who's who, which photographs, it really doesn't matter. This one,
Mine?
this is yours?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic shot, Lincoln Center. I used to go dancing there whenever they did those summer dancing gatherings. I like the fact that there's a very strong silhouette with a strong light, even though I have to say that the light has become overexposed because it's overexposed. The graphic quality of those profiles is very interesting to me, right? So I think I like this photograph. It could be crafted in different ways, but I like it a lot. This is another image. All your pictures were fantastic, right? There were those moments that you have to grab with the camera, but my mission is to present everything and send it back to you again, so we keep on learning. It is fantastic, but the cropping is very narrow. You're not giving me any information about the background, but then you can tell me, oh, this is my son, this is my neighbor, this is my friend. Okay, I don't know that, but still, it would be nice to give me more what is around there. So if it's a story, maybe you want to have photographs that are very narrow, very, a 50-millimeter lens or something that is like a narrow crop. But also I want to see the whole thing. Is this a forest? Is this an amusement park? Is there something else happening? So keep those ideas in mind. This is a fantastic, beautiful photograph. It's very well executed and I like it a lot. The moment, the expression, holding the book is very cute. When it comes to perfection, I wonder, you see that portion on the left, that is, I see the white wall on the back. So I don't really need to see that if you want to make it really perfect. But at the same time, you're bringing me again very, very, very close to my subjects. Beautiful subjects, cute. I understand the message. But when you take these photographs, I want you to step back and think wider. Okay, that's something that I have noticed in some of your images.
Okay.
This is one of those photographs about serendipity, and I hope what I'm saying you guys understand well. The fact that you capture a moment that is cute, that is once in a million, once in a blue moon, does not convert automatically into a good photograph. And that's a mistake that people do, right? So let's say that I have the most amazing crafted photograph of my wife and her face looks like, and I'm trying to convey harmony, right? It won't work. So what I'm trying to tell you is that all the pieces of our puzzle, they need to work together. And as a professional, as a teacher, and as a future friend, I need to tell you that you have to be very selective when you choose your photographs. As Patricia was saying, you send me pictures, some of you better, some worse, but the idea is to send pictures you had problems with. Be selective and be very tough on your selection. I'm a better selector with images than with words. I allow myself to make mistakes with words that I don't allow myself to make with images, because I don't look things over and over and over and over because I lack patience at a certain time. But it's the same system, okay? Fantastic photograph, very interesting, but really this photograph has become about the Apple logo. That is the center with the reflection of that flash. That photograph was taken with a flash that is bouncing back from the eye, and that's what that. Yes, and that's what that's what this focus is. That's what this image is about. And then, oh, there's an animal crossing on the back, and it should be reversed. I should not care about if it's an iPhone or a person or your friend. It's about the moment. So maybe again, wider will be more interesting. Okay, even show me the whole store, and then what the hell? There's like an animal crossing on the street on the outside. So keep wider.
Okay.
Beautiful portrait. And I'm gonna say, and again, the reason I chose all these photographs is to give you all these ideas for you to start thinking, right? Not to the press or say, oh, he told me this. No. It's actually to encourage you because they're fantastic, but I want them to be better. When you take portraits of people, right? You cannot crop hands, arms, fingers, legs, elbows, like somebody has given you a knife in a kitchen
I
and
don't-
you start like
I
chopping
don't
the
know
whole.
why I don't know why it arrived cropped like that. That's not how I see the picture on my end.
Okay, well, that's how I got it. But still, the hand is cropped, even though maybe it shows a little bit more.
Yeah, okay.
Well, but my apologies if it was processing. But the idea is the hands and certain body parts, they cannot be cropped. And you'll see that my technique is cropping people's everything all the time. But it had to be done in a way so it's appealing, right? If you crop an essential limb, it won't work, right? If you're gonna crop an arm, you cannot crop an arm just in a particular spot. It has to be above or below, but you cannot do it in the wrong place. And it's even hard for me to explain where that cropping spot is because it's very difficult to say, but I just want you to be aware, okay? This is, this is some of the photographs that Dirk sent me. The idea of these photographs, Dirk, was to send pictures with mistakes. I think this photograph, I think, is very captivating. I think it's very beautiful. Actually, I like it a lot. I like the fact that it's mysterious. I don't have any negative comment about it or something to improve. I think it's very, very well crafted. Let's look at some of the others so you understand my point. This is also a very beautiful photograph. It's about the rain and the texture. A building in Panama, if I remember. No, yes, on the background. But what I noticed in your pictures, because I think you're a good photographer from what I've seen, like the first 5 photographs that you sent me, is that everything is very, very, very structured. Everything is super organized with no space for mistake or being loose. So my suggestion, without knowing you well, and by the end of this course, we will know each other well, and I mean this for good, is I think you have to be more flexible when you work on certain things, right? I love the moment. I love the ocean. I think it's fantastic, but they're all cropped in a particular manner. This is very artistic. It calls my attention, the reflection, the water, and I like it a lot. But something I'm gonna repeat over and over and over. We wanna take these photographs to a different level to tell stories. So keep those things in mind.
You said
Alex,
to say something, a
yeah.
picture where an image where you had an image. So that's what I focused on as well.
No. These pictures are beautiful.
An idea behind something. I don't know. But
Okay.
yeah, you're definitely right. I mean, I'm German and I'm an engineer, so I'm definitely very structured. Yes.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna tell you a story. I was walking in Costa Rica with an Israeli engineer. Day number 1, we were walking, and he told me, Kike, there's no way you're gonna change my mind, because for me everything is mathematical, everything is structured. We're still friends with him. I'm still friends nowadays. And after that trip, he starts seeing things slightly different. So that's why I was trying to give you some information about start thinking different, because there's another side of the brain that, based on our background, has to be, it becomes an effort. You miss the beginning of the class. So what I was saying, try to do things that they imply breaking our boundaries, something that is very difficult for us to do. That's how you start learning and improving. And this applies for all of you, but also for me. I started a YouTube channel, and it's been so difficult to do. You know, I have to reinvent myself, think different media, different filming. So I learned so much about the experience, and that's what I'm trying to do. I love this scene. If you see again, everything balanced, everything perfect composition. I cannot criticize anything. Everything is in place. It's very unique, very well organized, very beautiful photograph. The light is striking on that golden sculpture. It gives me the perspective. But we're gonna work with what I mean there. You trust me on this one, but I already know that you're a very good photographer, so we'll come up with some wonderful ideas. This is Patricia, and I don't know why this is showing this way. Okay, well, hold on 1 second. Something has happened here. Okay, so I don't have to stop the whole thing. So the picture that is on the background that Patricia is sending us, it's a photograph that has been taken from the inside of a vehicle, I think, right, Patricia?
Inside of a what? A
Of a
building.
vehicle. Oh, a building. Okay,
It's a
okay.
hotel,
Oh,
actually.
it's a, oh, okay, okay. I thought it was a car or something. So I think it's a very interesting photograph. I kind of like it. And there's something that we call frame within a frame. If you're gonna do it, Patricia, instead of leaving just the corner or the edge of the window, right, as it shows there, I think it's better to make a very strong statement. Like, yes, this was photographed through a window. You can see the curtains, you can see the glass, you can see the dirt on the glass, and there's a woman that happens to be walking behind. Instead of leaving that that tiny edge. But why did you send this one in particular, Patricia? What was this?
These are two
what was-
images. You have these as two images, right?
No, I know. Yes, sorry. Okay, so forgive me about it. I don't want to stop the presentation and start messing with Keynote. So this is two photographs, right? The one
Right.
that I'm commenting is the one on the background, which is a road with this lady, and you see the edge of something, and there's an empty road. That's the one that I'm commenting.
Okay.
Yes, sorry about that.
Yeah, I mean, I sent it to you because you said to send you the ones that we didn't think were the best. I don't think this is the best photo of what I was shooting. It was from a bus. I get the window.
Oh, okay, that's what I meant. Okay.
So, but I was happy with that she's looking at me.
Yes.
And I mean, we were moving. So
Okay.
that I was just trying to capture street scenes as we were moving.
Okay, Dirk, what do you think about this photograph? Okay, disregard this window here on the left. That's my mistake.
Well, she's trying to capture a moment, and in the moment you don't always have the perfect situation, and sometimes then let's say mistakes or imperfections just happen. Obviously, for someone that the beholder now sees the imperfection and doesn't see the moment that she probably saw, maybe, but I get the idea what she wanted to take, and I like it. Speaking about me, I do have that. I feel invading their private space going too close. That's one of my things. I'd like to do a lot more pictures of people, but I don't have a big thing with that. But I like that. I like that picture, and the moment. I think that's
okay.
good.
Okay, I agree with you, Dirk and Patricia. I like it a lot. What I would like to say, you're talking about invading somebody's privacy. So I consider myself somebody that really likes people. I love people, and I'm very respectful at the same time. But don't fool yourself. To photograph people, like Hope, I know you want to photograph people. We were talking about besides animals. To photograph people, you have to break the barrier. You have to risk. You have to get closer, and you're gonna accept rejection and feeling strange about certain images and deal with your own feelings regarding other people. Imagine photographing the coronavirus these days. I don't happen to be in New York. If I was in New York and if I was in my neighborhood, probably I would be walking around photographing everything because it's the center of the pandemic. It happened when I photographed September 11. It happened when I photographed so many things. You don't want to be disruptive or unrespectful to people, but at the same time, if you're going to try to capture photographs that they tell a story, you have to find a way to make it happen. You can become friends of your subjects. You can write a book about them. You can come back later on and send them, as I have done a million times, prints that they will never be able to buy. The indigenous people that I'm doing the book, what I did on my second visit, I did huge prints and I gave them to them. And from that day on, the chief of the tribe, they still remember me and say, hey, Kike, oh, you brought us those prints. They're in my house. They're like hidden. I don't want anybody to steal them. They're just prints, but for them, they mean something. So as photographers, as humans, we need to break that and we need to cross that line. Photographing from the distance with a telephoto lens, you never really achieve what you want to achieve with photography. These are beautiful moments, and I know what Patricia was capturing, and Derek is saying, I took this photo, but as an editor, right, I'm completely detached from your emotions. I always, hello there, I see a small one.
He's curious. He's curious.
Okay, okay, let me put you, and I hope I'm not talking a lot today, but there's certain things that I really wanted to cover, especially on the beginning of the course. It doesn't matter that you climb Everest and it takes you 7 months, or they drop me on an helicopter and it takes me 3 hours. Of course, your personal effort, your satisfaction is one thing, but the other thing completely detached is the photograph. I think the same thing, Patricia, probably with Carl and with all of you that you write. It doesn't matter that a manuscript takes you like a weekend or a lifelong. It's what the final result is and how people see it and what it represents. So with photography, it's the same. It's sadly to say that as an editor, I need to detach myself from what you think, that it was your best vacation, that it was a once in a lifetime experience. That's not connected with me as an editor. That's not why I'm gonna license the image in a magazine. So I want you to keep this in mind. Pictures have many uses and they're all good, but I need to push your boundaries. I'm sorry, Patricia, this is kind of a mess, what I've done with your photographs. I don't know, this one has happened in the back, so I'm gonna skip them and I'll do them the next day properly.
Okay. Yeah.
The one you have on the front, I absolutely think is very beautiful. That's a good example of frame within frame, and that's what I was referring to. I use an architectonical element that is the window, and I show my viewer what is behind. So I have a feeling that I'm standing behind the window and I'm seeing everything that is beyond with beautiful light and beautiful days. So that's a great shot. If you had included the human element, it would have been really fantastic, but I'm a perfectionist. So Janet, are you still online? I don't see you on my screen, or we lost you. Do you see Janet?
I've had an off. Yes, I can see you and I can see the photograph.
Okay, Janet. So
But I'm
you
having
send
a terrible time. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Okay, let's do our best. So Janet, can you explain me what is this photograph about? Why did you choose this photograph in part? I mean, now that I'm looked closely, I think I understand it, but why don't you explain it to me?
With COVID-19, there are people in our church who are locked in because of health issues. And this is a parade with our automobiles to give her a surprise birthday shout out. And I wanted to get a sense of group, but I tried with my cell phone, but it just was not satisfying because there were probably 40 cars.
Okay, so let me say something. Photographs are bidimensional, and captions bring the three-dimensionality. So this is the kind of photograph that I only put in context and I like when I understand what it is. So we were talking about projects and artistic statements. Only with that information, I can really value this photograph and put it into what I think it should fall into. Without it, I don't. I don't know if I'm making sense with what I'm trying to say. So when you describe your photograph, it's key. Okay. What about this one, Janet? Why this photograph?
Okay.
What is here? What is this?
I wanted to get a sense of the number of cars that were lined up, and and this one is the This one is in British Columbia, and they are concrete trucks, and those are the concrete tanks behind it, dressed as different kinds of critters.
Okay, I think
It's
it's
rather amusing.
I think it's very interesting too, and actually, that's one of the things that we try to do with photography. So this is an example of a photograph that technically is not perfect, but it's very fun to look at. And I completely forget about the composition, if this track is missing on the left, is missing on the right, because the topic is so interesting that makes me look back and back and back so I understand. I don't know if you guys have the same impression. So subject matter, it makes a difference. If you present me with a photograph and I take a look and I only spend 1 second, your mission as photographer has failed because you don't keep me entertained. If you show me a photograph that is not so good, but I keep on wondering what the hell is going on here, then my mission as a communicator, it works, okay? Alex, nice to see you. I don't know, I see people on and off. So let me skip this because I realize this is a large group this week. So I won't be able to comment every single photograph or we will be go crazy here. Janet, let me tell you about these last 2 photographs that you sent. I didn't really quite understand the compositions. For example, the one on the left, you gave me like a very unusual panoramic that you see the little bird home and the flowers. I put it into smaller so it fits here. The other one is the edge of the table of a beautiful corner, but I didn't quite understand it, why you crop it like this. I'm gonna keep on moving because we don't have enough time and we'll talk about it. But you got me thinking there, like I don't think it was the right composition choice. For some reason, Alex, I don't know where your photographs have gone. They were somewhere, but I'm gonna continue and we will cover. So I wanna talk about the artist's statement really quickly, and I know I've been over time. I won't do this in the future. So very quickly, I want everybody to tell us what is your project and what are you gonna be working on. Before you proceed, I just want to say, we're all in different spaces. Somebody might be stuck in a home and they cannot leave a room. Another may have a big garden. It does not matter. This is not about surface walk. This is about your personal creativity. On my last class, I had a Chinese student locked in a room in London, and her whole project was in a room the size of, like tiny, and her project was fantastic, and we all learned a lot. So it doesn't matter what you're gonna be doing. This is your project as a teaching tool, okay? So let's start from top to bottom. Susan, if you wanna tell me what are you gonna be working these days, I would appreciate it.
I live in a very small town, and it's called Hanalei, and I'm going to see what comes up, and that's what I'm going to photograph. That's my project is Hanalei.
Okay. What about, let's go down. The next person or anybody who wants to talk, we're all going to do it. So who wants to share theirs?
I as you mentioned, I'm so used to taking pictures of birds that I don't think a photograph is ever complete unless there's a bird in it. So I have to move beyond that. I have to force myself to see it differently. So what I do like to, I'm not such a landscape person, but I do like to take pictures of people. I just want to be able to do it better with more story in it, more story in the photo rather than the picture of the couple where the hands were cropped for some reason, to me is too posed. I mean, it included the dam in the background, which is a big part of their story, that particular couple, but it's too posed. And I loved the picture of your daughter when she was in movement rather than standing still. When she was in movement, that very first photo, that's what I mean. You get You get a sense of the
Yes.
emotion of a person's life. That's
Yes,
what,
because
I wanna-
what we're gonna be trying, or what you're gonna be trying, you're gonna capture slices of life.
Right.
So slices of life is not a couple staring at the camera like this and holding 5 seconds until you trigger, or
Right.
sitting still, or having a baby placed on a chair without moving, because a baby will never stay still in a chair, right? Like a slow shutter speed of a baby jumping on a kitchen will be probably more close to reality than something confined. So let's see if we can make it happen. Patricia, what have you come up with, or what are you going to be doing?
Well, I live in the suburb of New York City, and I've been wanting to go into New York City, so maybe this will get me to go in.
Ah.
And shoot
Okay.
something of what's happening right there, right now.
Okay. Okay. Dirk, what do you have in mind?
I haven't had fully time to decide, but I think it's obvious. I think it's gonna be including people, faces. I'm limited in moving, as I wrote you. We have very limited time right now. We're separated by men and women here in Panama. So I have Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday 2 hours to leave the house according to the last number of my passport. And the people I have around is my wife and my kids. So maybe I'll focus on people, and obviously that the subject that you cannot avoid, not even that I want to do it, but it's probably going to be related to COVID-19. People with masks, without masks, supermarket. I don't know, because if I leave the house, then it's going to be either no people at all, or where I go inside a place, it's going to be people with masks, and then maybe in here capturing a little bit my daughter, how it impacts on her being locked down in the house completely.
Okay.
And
Okay, that makes sense. Alex?
So I'm actually going to be traveling a lot, and I'll be in different places pretty much every week for the next couple months. And I currently, for my job, I shoot a lot of food content and a lot of people and a lot of atmosphere and, building in space. So I want to take some time to do tighter shots using macro and doing patterns in nature in all the different places that I'll be in, which I think will be cool, because right now I'm in Florida. We'll be going up to North Carolina, to Connecticut, all the way across the country and all the northern states to Washington, down into California, and back to Colorado. So really there will be a diversity in all of the nature, but just the patterns and all of that. So.
Okay. Based on what you guys are describing me, right? I will give you some suggestions of things you could do, but first I want you to imagine what are you going to be doing. Janet, what is going to be your project? And again, this is just for you, right? It's not for us. It's just your choice to use tools to improve.
Yes, I'm going to use the trail. We have a lot of trails in our community. I'm in the Great Northwest, and I'm finding curious things in these trails, and I'm always looking for the little things. And because I'm limited, and our good governor has told us to stay close to home, I chose this because this keeps me in my community, but gives me some opportunities to explore and just see what little surprises are out there that'll put a smile on my face and I can capture and share with you.
Okay, that's fantastic. I think all of you have chosen very interesting ideas. I'm just gonna give you something to reflect on, right? Something that I have discovered in life or in photography is that the best stories, they're close to us, right? And sometimes people, they go far looking for something when they have it very close. So I'm gonna show you a very short video, and I apologize because I extended, but some of you came a little late, so I decided to go over time. So I hope you don't mind. So we already know this, and I want you to see this video about an artist's statement. Your assignment for next week, or one of the things you're gonna be doing, is you're gonna put in writing an artist statement about what we're going to be working on. And I want you to look at this artist statement. Hopefully it's going to work. Oh, maybe it's not working. Uh-oh. Sorry. Let's see if it works. Yeah, technology. Oh, here we go.
There's no sound.
No sound?
No sound.
No? You're
No
not getting any,
sound.
you're not getting any sound?
No.
Sound. No.
Okay, hold on 1 second here. Start share. That's so strange. If it doesn't work, then we'll have to do it the next day because it should work.
Kiki, I need to sign off at 12:30.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap up.
Hey, I'm Charlotte Young and I'm a visual artist.
Can you hear now?
I work largely, but not exclusively, through the medium of performance. I also make videos and I'm a published writer. My art has been exhibited internationally and shown alongside the work of artists of great renown. For the main part, my work is concerned with narrative, its varying forms and renderings. I attempt to create fictional narratives and present them as verifiable truths, questioning the nature of both fact and fiction and drawing the viewer's attention to the line at which they meet. I'm influenced by international news reportage, documentaries, the art of the biopic, also written or filmic accounts of the lives of unusual individuals. My work is currently in a state of flux. As such, I aim to acquire further additions to my creative influences by exploring new artistic territories. In addition to my creative endeavours, I can also be employed as a freelance practitioner. And my contact details will appear at the bottom of the screen shortly. Thanks.
So I thought I would share. I thought it was very funny when I watched this. Basically, I want you to come up with a project. It can be what you have presented. It can be something else. I want you to think about it. Don't think in such an open, universal manner that is almost an open box that you could put any photographs into that project. Give it some direction. And I know some of you already have to go. So for the next day, bring me those statements. I'll send you an email with everything. It was very nice to have you today. I know I extended a little bit better. Every day we won't be reviewing absolutely everything from everyone. Today I wanted to do it, even though I miss Alex and some of Patricia's photographs. So for the following day, what I want you to do is to think about the words that would actually accompany, will complement this project that you're going to be working. Okay, so it was a pleasure sharing with all of you. I hope you enjoy. Yes. Or any quick questions or something?
The
yes.
artist statement. Do you want us to do a video like that, or you want us to just do a written artist statement?
No, not a video. Sorry. No. I just want you I want you to write something so you actually put your mind into words in terms of what you're going to be capturing with the camera. So Patricia told me, I'm going to be going to New York to see what do I find out there. Okay, so that means that she can put pretty much anything in there. So Andir was telling me, okay, I can go to the supermarket. So I want there to think, I'm gonna tell the story of my daughter at home and the interaction with the world during the pandemic. I'm gonna cover how Panamanians behave when they go out on the street, or the men. Give it some direction and some structure, so we work on a particular thing, if that makes any sense, okay? So it was a real pleasure to meet some of you, and I'm glad. I hope you got something from this class, and I hope I was not very strict with my feedback, but it was very fun, and more to come. Okay.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Thank you.
Ciao, ciao.
Good seeing everyone.